Okay, so now is time for Q&A, and thank you all for being so patient. I know that was a lot to sit through. Hopefully it was interesting. Here's how I want to try and manage the Q&A. Throw your hand up. What I'm going to try and do is call out, 3 people. I'm going to take your questions, and then we'll go back to put your hand up again, because it's going to be hard for me to keep track of every single hand that's up. So if you hear me call multiple times, I just have a bad memory. So let's go. Okay, I'm going to start with you, and then you, and then I'm going to come over to you in the front. Okay?
Yeah, I kind of got 3 questions, and 2 of them relate to each other.
I will repeat the question.
I got 3 questions, 2 of them kind of relate to each other. For the trees on the major slope on the south end, it looks for viewpoints, you're going to be removing some of them. Is this okay because you're adding more trees in other areas? Because I'm an arborist, so I know about the ECF stuff with the environmental clinical slopes and stuff. And basically, if you remove something, you kind of have to replace it tenfold or something like that in other places. And then the trees on the northern edge, are you thinking like dogwoods and vine maples and that kind of thing that don't get huge? Or are you thinking hawthorns or something like that, which have horrible problems here, or flowering cherries, which are beautiful for 2 weeks and then look like crap the rest of the year. And then down where the existing art is, number 9, down in the children's area, children's garden, are you eliminating that access point to walk down into the ball fields completely, or are you moving it to some other place in that corner? Because it is an important spot to be able to get down in that corner rather than having to walk back up towards the bathroom to get down to the lower part there.
I'm going to recap really quickly for all of you who might not have heard that. So there are 3 questions. The first one, essentially, where you may be removing trees. What's the requirement? Where are you replacing trees? What's that trade-off there? The second is up at the north edge of the park. What type of trees are going in there? Are they tall trees, short trees? What are they going to look like when they're fully grown? Is that about it?
Well, what variety?
What variety? And then where we have the access down there, there's currently access to the ball field. Is that going away? Is it moving? What's the deal?
Can I do yes, no, maybe? Slope. The idea, looking at it carefully, the trees in there are really tight, some which, as an arborist, horticulturally is probably not the sound. So we're angling that way to maybe think about that of a tree maybe coming out here and there. There's a lot of views through the trees now. If we take a few limbs off, we get even better views, so that would be another tactic, would you just to do some limbing and work with the existing trees. I think when we did something like these little viewpoints, there are no trees here, but in this one, I think we were enhancing the graphics so that you could kind of get that sense that you weren't looking at a tree, that people would feel it was an open view. But the idea, we have to be very careful about it. You're exactly right on the issues with dealing with those trees. We've learned a lot about what SPU has had to do, and with this utility work right in this area, some of the trees that they've come in contact with. So it's pretty serious consequences. So we'll look at that very carefully about what we do, but it could be as simple as limbing some of the trees to get the views. As far as the north side, exactly right. Small scale trees is what we're after. We want something that kind of gives an edge to the park, but we don't want it to be something that takes it over. And so the idea of dogwoods, vine maples, it could be even smaller scale maples. We have some smaller maples, paper bark maples, things like that, striped bark maples. So smaller scales, again, like I said, 20 feet tall maybe, or 15 feet tall, canopies 15 feet, something like that. Could be some columnar trees to accent it. So we don't have specific varieties in mind right now, but that kind of comes in the next.
Try to stay more towards the native kind of